Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. So this week we're going to do a quick and easy recipe. It's going to be hearty and filling. You can also customize it the way you want. So this is a curry chickpea pasta. Very simple to make and will definitely make you feel really full for a long time, and it's full of very healthy ingredients. So I've made this recipe a few different ways and I use different veggies sometimes, but I always have a staple of 3 large carrots that I chop up, and I have 1 bay leaf. I use half a can of coconut milk because I don't want to use too much fat in it, but half a can seems to work really well. And if you wanted to, you can also just eliminate that and just put any kind of milk that you have on hand that's lower in fat. You can go ahead and do that, or just continue to use broth. Totally up to you. Like I said, this recipe is very customizable. So I chop up my 3 carrots, and once that's done, I'm going to use a Dutch oven. You can use any pot you have on hand. If you want to make it in the Instant Pot, you can also make this recipe in the Instant Pot, but just be mindful that it will take just a few minutes in the Instant Pot versus a regular pot. So a Dutch oven gets really hot, so I'm able to make this meal very quickly. So if you have a regular pot, it might take you a few extra minutes, but it's totally fine. You can use whatever you already have on hand. Don't go out and buy a Dutch oven just because I'm using one. Just use what you have available to you. So I go ahead and water saute my carrots just to soften them down just slightly, and then I go ahead and add all my herbs in. So I'm adding my oregano. This is dry oregano from my garden last year, so I'm just using up the rest of that. And I use oregano in a lot of things actually. It's really good for you and adds really nice flavor. So once that's cooked down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add my other spices. If I had fresh garlic, I would just saute the garlic with my carrots. I would chop up my garlic, maybe like 3 or 4 cloves. I do like a lot of garlic, but I didn't have any on this day, so I'm just using the powder. I'm using what's available to me. Like I said, don't go and get crazy and you have to buy certain ingredients. You can substitute things, just use whatever you have. So I'm using some garlic powder. I'm using onion powder. Those are pretty staple things that I think a lot of people have in their pantry. So I'm also adding in the 1 bay leaf that I showed you earlier, and you can go ahead and add salt and pepper if you want to now, but I just like to use it when I'm just serving my food later on. So yeah, and I already have my oregano. I'm also going to throw in some curry powder because that is the star of the show. That's what's going to give it the most flavor. So I go ahead and add at least like a tablespoon of that, and everything else you can probably put a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half. It depends on what you prefer, and you decide on what the flavors are for you. So I do like a lot of garlic, so I put a lot of garlic in. I put less onion powder. You can customize it the way you want. So I'm also adding turmeric. It's going to give it such a pretty color, and it's also very healthy for us, and it's going to add a little bit of that depth of flavor that we're looking for. So I used my half of a cup of the coconut milk. I have used a whole can before and I found it to be too strong and too heavy. So half of is just perfect, trust me. And if you don't want to add it, you don't have to. And then I just filled up that can twice and added that in as well. And then you can just, see how your food is cooking up. And if you feel like you need some more water, go ahead and add a little bit more. And now I'm going to throw in that can of chickpeas because we are going to up the protein and the fiber in this meal. It's going to be quite hearty and delicious. And if you don't have chickpeas, you can substitute for something else as well. So you can go ahead and toss that bay leaf in, and then this is going to cook up. And then once it's done, you can just remove it later. It just adds a lot of nice flavor to your dish. So I do recommend adding 1 of these. And then as far as pasta goes, you can use whatever you have available to you. This is my favorite. It's the brown rice pasta. I really like this one. It cooks up really easy. It tastes absolutely delicious. It's one of probably the oldest brands of pasta that I have used for so many years. I guess since they probably started coming out and selling it in Walmart. But it's truly like the best one. I really like this one. So they have different kinds of pasta. I just chose this one. I'm throwing in the whole thing and then giving it a mix. We're going to cover this up and cook it for a few minutes. So again, I have a Dutch oven, so it doesn't take me very long. So I do, check on it every few minutes and give it a stir, check it out to make sure my pasta is not overcooking. But if you have a regular pot, it might take you a few extra minutes, totally fine. Just keep an eye on it, and then once your pasta is done, then your meal is done. So this is it once I took the lid off. It is kind of thickened up a little bit, but you still have some of that sauce left, so it hasn't totally thickened up. And again, you could add a little bit more liquid if you find that it's too dry. Remember that as it cools off, it won't be so runny, so just be careful of not adding too much liquid. But this is how it is. The pasta's cooked up. You can remove your bay leaf if you choose to. You don't want to eat that right now. It's just for flavor while you're cooking. And yeah, now I have added different veggies to this. I have added cauliflower, and that's perfect. I've added broccoli, zucchini, there's mushrooms. I've added mushrooms as well. Whatever I have that I don't want to waste in my crisper, this is a great meal because you can use up all those veggies and just throw them in. Just, I would be mindful of not overcooking them. So probably I would add them closer to the end when your pasta's cooking, and that way your veggies don't overcook. I've used fresh and frozen veggies, and both work in this recipe as well. But on this day, I kept it very simple. Just used my carrots, just my pasta. I was really in a hurry, and I wanted to cook up something really fast, but it was delicious. And another thing that I love to do is add spinach. So it will wilt down, so you can put it in like the last minute once it's cooked. You just throw in a bunch of spinach, give it a mix. It's going to wilt down, and it will be perfect and add a lot of extra greens and health and nutrition to your meal. I have also added it on the bottom of my bowl and then put the pasta on top. And again, it's going to wilt that spinach, and then you have extra veggies. So on this day, I just had some bell peppers on the side because that's what I had as extra veg that I had to eat. So that's what I did. But yeah, spinach or any kind of greens with this is delicious. Okay guys, so that is it. I hope that you enjoyed the recipe, and let me know if you try it out. I would love to know. So take care everyone, stay healthy, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so that we don't miss any upcoming videos with health and wellness tips, and also some quick and easy recipes as always. So take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.